Hello, everyone, and happy new year. We are so excited that you have decided to spend your Wednesday lunchtime, if it's lunchtime for you, or perhaps if you're on a different coast, maybe you're having breakfast. But whatever you're having, we're happy you're here. And wow, I feel like a lot has already happened. I'm super happy to have Katie Collins from G to G joining me today. Uh, and you're going to learn a little bit more about her. I know you've probably seen her face or maybe seen her name, but she is an incredible individual who is a, does a lot behind the scenes to really help us push things across the finish line. So, with that, we have a really packed schedule today, but I really wanted to say thank you for being here. I want to remind everyone that there is a question section, a question box at the bottom of your screen. You're welcome to put questions in there. It's easier to find the questions if they're there. If you put them in the chat, we're happy to put them in the chat. We're happy to find them in the chat as well. Let us know who you are, where you're coming from. What was the favorite food you ate for Christmas or for the holiday that you celebrate. And we'll get started. So, most of you know me if you've been here. If you've not been here before, my name is Vanessa Joy Walker, and I am a proud co founder of the Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition. I am also a two-time cancer patient. I was diagnosed with cancer twice under the age of 40. I'm a BRCA2 mutation carrier. And really, cancer has changed the trajectory of my life. I always say sometimes you choose your calling, and other times the calling chooses you. And so, in this sense, the calling has chosen me. And I just realized I didn't have my camera on. So, sorry for that. So, in addition to that, today we really want to lean into a handful of different subjects, and we'll get started. So we really wanted to start the year with just gratitude and thanking you all for a year that was, I mean, incredible. It's hard to even put into words all that we've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. And we know that that is not possible without every single person that's on this call today, every person that has used their own funds to come to Washington, D.C., who has sent a letter in, who has told their friend about this, who has decided to talk to their doctor and their community about early detection. We are so very grateful. And in a world that is really difficult right now, we really want to kind of lean into gratitude because it's easy to lean into the other stuff, but we really want to lean into gratitude. Additionally, next slide. We wanted to kind of give you a little snapshot. We shared a little bit of this in December, but specifically around Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition, which many of you know is one of the main coalitions and focuses of women's health advocates. We have been able to accomplish more in 16 months than most of the coalitions that I am a part of. We've hosted 2 large Hill days plus multiple small group meetings. Just a note to everyone, even yesterday, didn't have time to even put it on the slide deck. 2 of our leaders and myself met with a senator from Maryland, and it was an incredible meeting. And I have some updates that I will be talking to Katie with later. So just FYI, and we'll share them with other individuals when we can. But lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. We delivered two congressional briefings, completed advocacy trainings, both virtually and in DC. We organized a week of action with virtual meetings nationwide. And we've had, uh, 1,700 letters sent to Congress through the Women's Health Advocates website. And 200 of those at least have been directly related to breast cancer. So that in and of itself is just really, really incredible. We've generated all kinds of media shares, and we have consistently held these monthly coalition calls. So a big clap to everyone for that. So with that, I wanted to talk a little bit about advocacy in action. Um, Advocacy, I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking about advocacy, and I thought to myself, wow, your different definition of advocacy is different than my definition of advocacy. And that's okay. The truth is that advocacy has many different definitions, and it has many different places. We do it on the federal level. We advocate at the state level, but we advocate in our own communities. We advocate at our doctor's office. We advocate at our place of work. Advocacy is something that is ever changing, and the definition that you choose for yourself is the right definition. And we've been blessed to have so many incredible advocates come to DC and share in this process, many of them for the very first time. And because of that, I really wanted to start the year talking to one of my favorite people, Leslie Yerger, who is here. She is the founder of My Density Matters. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she'll do a better job than I will. But I want to have a little short conversation with her about what does advocacy really look like and how scary it is when you start. So Leslie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Vanessa, so much for just doing this meeting and having us all on and doing what you do. Incredible work. Thank you so much. Again, Leslie Ferris Yerger, CEO and founder of My Density Matters. We empower women to find out their breast density and learn their additional screening options and advocate for themselves, because that's what we have to do. Because a lot of this additional screening that people need if they have dense breasts is not an automatic thing at this point. And so that's what we advocate for. I was diagnosed over 8 years ago now with stage 4 breast cancer, 2 months after an all-clear mammogram and ultrasound. And that has led me to my own advocacy journey. And so you said some of us, what was that? Some of us choose our calling, and for others of us, our calling chooses us. Well, I certainly fall into that category. I basically can't help myself but to do this work. And so that's why I do what I do, and why My Density Matters exists, because people need advocated for, and that's why we do it.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And I wanted to ask you just a couple of quick questions. Uh, you did share a little bit with us right now about what advocacy looks like to you. But what I want to know is, what did it feel like when you decided that you were going to dip your toe into advocacy?
It felt scary and it felt empowering. And I don't know that I would have been able to do it the way that we've done it before diagnosis, because as we all know who have been diagnosed, we get changed as part of that. And I'm able to say, you know what? I'm going to do this. It won't be perfect, but I'm going to do me. And that'll be the best thing that could ever happen. And I think that stands for everyone, not just me. And so scary and empowering at the same time is my.
I love that because it's like it's kind of like that idea of joy and sorrow, coexisting. I talk a
Right.
lot about that when I talk about survivorship,
Yes.
because survivorship is a really beautiful thing, but it's also a really hard thing. Survivorship is one of the hardest journeys that any breast cancer patient can have. And anyone on this call who's had breast cancer knows that. Anyone on this call who's cared for someone who has breast cancer also knows that.
Yeah.
Um, what surprised you about the process of advocacy?
What surprised me the most is how not alone we are. Nothing could have brought that point home more to me than when we went to San Antonio last December to the breast cancer conference. And we had a booth, a first time ever having a booth for My Density Matters. And the spirit of collaboration and helping each other and community was definitely there. So if we want to collaborate and be with others in this journey, we can, because there's so many of us who care about this. And so, a lot of things have surprised me, but that's just the one that comes to the top of my mind right now. And I always feel that we're always better together than we are alone or separately. And I believe that to the core, and that is a core tenet of My Density Matters.
Well, I believe that too. And we are so grateful for the work that you do. We're grateful that you have decided to dedicate your entire life to this. We're also grateful, I'll let everyone know, for all of the resources that My Density Matters has gifted to this coalition to help us partner in education with our members. Um, But for those individuals who think, well, listen, I can't quit my job and start a nonprofit and go into advocacy full time, like
Right.
right? For those people that might be on the call that are thinking that, what would you say to them?
And most people can't. That's just a harsh reality of life. Most people cannot do that. And I guess I'll have to say, through a very unfortunate diagnosis, I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. Old enough and all of that I can do that. But you don't have to start your own foundation or not for profit. You don't have to do any of those things to help in advocacy. You can share resources with someone else that you know needs them. That's advocating for them. You can go on the Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition website and send a letter to your congressperson. That will help get us the policies that we need. You can donate to your favorite advocacy organization. We all need money to operate. You can go to events. You can invite people to events. So these are little things that you can do that over a lot of people add up, and your voice matters no matter, if it took you 2 minutes, 2 hours, or 2 years. So don't think that, one little thing is too small and not to bother with, because that's not true. All these things add up for everyone. So I guess my overall, thing is just do what you can
I love
and
that.
do what you can and do what you feel called to do.
I love that.
And don't worry about what you didn't do, you
Yeah,
know?
and don't feel guilty. Listen, if you
Right.
are tired and getting involved in advocacy around cancer creates a level of stress for you, that's okay too.
Right.
Right? we're
Absolutely.
we're here as a community, and we want to carry that for the people that are still in a space where that's not something that is comfortable for them. With that, I think this is a perfect opportunity for you to introduce Susan Miller. I don't know if you'd like to give a little introduction, Leslie, to your colleague, Susan.
Absolutely. Susan is VP of Partnerships and Programs at My Identity Matters. She was part of the inception creation of My Identity Matters. We were working on this before My Identity Matters was ever a twinkle in our eyes. And so we've had we're only 4.5 years old, but this is our sixth annual Find Out My Breast Density Day because we were doing it before, right? And in the spirit of collaboration and sharing resources and doing what you can, I'm going to now turn it over to Susan and let her talk about our upcoming Find Out My Breast Density Day and what people can do to help.
Thank you so much. And I love being here with everybody because this is such an amazing group of people. Let me just tell you a little bit about Find Out My Breast Density Day. As Leslie said, this is our sixth year. It's an annual, mostly online event. And the point of doing it in February is because it's not October and breast cancer is all year. This year, so every year we change the theme a little bit. Of course, My Density Matters always focuses on density education to action. But this year we've changed it a little bit and we've decided to offer some patient-focused resources to help people understand the whole breast journey because we have so many amazing partners. We focus on our niche, but our partners focus on everything around it. So whether you're young and you need you're not ready for a mammogram, but you want to do a risk assessment, to somebody who's just going for standard every year, people with other conditions, or if you've been diagnosed, our partners are going to supply resources, and we're putting them all on our event page. So we have, as you can see on the slide, there's 3 ways to participate. All of this is on our website as well. One is invite others. Simply, this is advocacy, as Leslie said. You can just tell other people that this day exists. It's Wednesday, February 18th. Share the page, share the information. Another way is if you have a breast health resource, whether it's a support system, educational tools, or like Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition, they have legislative, the push that we're doing here. So we're going to categorize them based on how many we receive. If you have a resource, it's one link, one logo, and one sentence, and then we'll put it all in there from there. And then, of course, the third way, which is always helpful, is amplifying the message on social media. We will have a marketing kit next week on our website that you can download, or you can create your own post that relates to it. We're using the hashtag FOMBDD because Find Out My Breast Density Day is such a long hashtag, and we learned that some people make typos and it's a lot. So we just did FOMBDD. And you can post, or simply like, share, and comment because everyone that is posting, when you engage, that helps amplify the whole message. So there's a form on our website. Just go there, click on that. I'll put these in the chat as well, but we just appreciate every single person that's part of this because your voice does matter. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we're excited to partner with you and amplify this message as well. There'll be more to come on that. So, moving on to our next important part is the DC updates and advocacy efforts. Today, we're lucky to have Katie Collins, who is a VP at G2G, with us. And before Katie shares, I'm going to embarrass her just a little bit and tell you about her. I really want to recognize the work that she does that makes all of our advocacy possible. Katie has nearly 20 years of government affairs experience, including 6 years in the Obama Biden White House. She served on Vice President Biden's Cancer Moonshot Task Force and most recently led ACT for NIH, where she helped secure 11% increase in NIH funding. But what matters most to us is what Katie does behind the scenes, building relationships on the Hill, opening doors for advocates, and creating the strategic pathways that turn our stories into policy change. So, Katie, a thank you from me and a thank you for everyone for making space for all of us to show up and be heard. I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for that very kind introduction. I do a lot of work in health policy, but the cancer and oncology community is an extra special one for me given my past work. So happy to be here. I will try to be brief. Somehow we have 5 minutes left. So we're just going to start with a quick advocacy win, which is that as of January 1, Highmark health plans, which cover several states, Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, Delaware, their commercial, their Medicare, their Medicaid, and their Affordable Care Act plans are fully covering diagnostic, mammogram, and MRI. This is really exciting. A lot of our advocacy work around the Find It Early Act, which we'll talk about in a minute, is for screening mammograms, and then the additional supplemental methods like ultrasound and MRI, and diagnostic mammograms and other screening vehicles had kind of fallen out of focus, and there was not coverage for those diagnostic, which is important, right? The screening is important, but when you have something that's of concern and you need that, that screening test, we want that to be covered too. So we're really excited about this, and it was a great way to start the year. If we go to the next slide, we can talk a little bit about, and this is an old version somehow, so pardon the highlight there. But 2026 legislative work. So Find It Early Act, if you've been working with us before, you know what this is about, which is coverage for the supplemental, I know we don't like that term supplemental, necessary supplemental screening post-mammogram, like MRI, like ultrasound. So this is really intended to fill in the gaps that exist in some states. I live in Ohio. It's fantastic. Everything is covered. My doctor is required to tell me what I need. I can actually even get my supplemental screening at the same time as my mammogram. If I was a woman living in North Carolina, though, for just an example of a state that doesn't have that type of coverage, that's out of pocket. That's supplemental necessary screening for women with dense breasts. So we will continue to work on this. It was reintroduced last year. So we have this year before a new Congress to make some progress. So just to fill in that what's next category, we're going to be continuing to raise awareness about Find It Early Act and the need for coverage for supplemental screenings on Capitol Hill. Our ask in those meetings is going to be for co-sponsorship for this bill. For those of you who maybe haven't been working on the Hill before, co-sponsorship is important. The more members of Congress who sign on to a bill, the more broad support that we can demonstrate, the more likely leadership is to take that bill and move it through the necessary channels for passage. So we'll be talking about this on the Hill in Zoom meetings on our Hill Day. We're going to have some letter writing campaigns, and we're really excited about the potential. Next slide, please.
Before, I'll just jump in and say it's okay if we go over a few minutes today.
Okay.
If we do have to jump off, anyone know that we will have a full recording of this, but we hope you can stay until the end. There's lots of great updates.
Thanks. Just a heads up, we've been really focused on the Find It Early Act because it's comprehensive, because it fills this gap around screening for women with dense breasts. But there are many bills in Congress this calendar year that have to do with breast cancer. You can see them all here. They all do various things. They're all important. So when we are on the Hill, we are providing the members of Congress and the staff we meet with this comprehensive list and asking for their support. So I think this is a nice indication of just how much the awareness has grown around breast cancer to see how many legislative policy solutions are out there and being proposed. We can go to the next slide. So one more thing, I think, before we go into Vanessa chatting a little bit about looking ahead, I just wanted to give a super quick government update. So, we've been very focused on breast cancer, but just to put that all into context for what else is happening in the legislative sphere this year, we are in January. We have 2 weeks until the continuing resolution that has funded the government thus far expires. So everybody on Capitol Hill is currently paying close attention to that. All focus is on funding the government. We are not hearing about another shutdown. Folks probably remember we had the longest shutdown in government history in October over this budget. Democrats used the budget as a leveraging point for the Affordable Care Act. We are not hearing that that's going to happen again. I think nobody wants to shut down, so we're expecting to see some sort of legislative vehicle to get us past this end of January cliff. But healthcare remains top of mind. As you know, we saw no re-extension of those healthcare subsidies. We saw about a dozen members of the Republican Party defect and vote with Democrats on a House bill to extend those subsidies, which was really exciting. Right now, it has not moved in the Senate. There's another alternative being worked on by Republicans, Bernie Moreno from Ohio and Susan Collins from Maine. Trump has said that he will veto anything that comes to his desk in terms of extending healthcare subsidies. So, and then it's a re-election year, it's a midterm year, so there's a lot going on. But just in terms of healthcare, I wanted to flag that ACA re-extension and the fact that the budget expires at the end of this month. I'd say more. I know we're low on time, so Vanessa, I'll hand it back to you.
Great, thanks. I did want to ask you a question. What do you think the redistricting efforts, how will that affect the work that we're doing in the breast cancer space and in the women's health space, kind of more generally?
Yeah, so the redistricting that we've seen so far has had a net impact for Republicans, although that has been smaller, I think, than Republicans had hoped, and that many of us thought that they would perhaps see a bigger advantage. I think midterms are going to be really, really interesting, and there's a lot of, I guess, water under the bridge between now and November. But we have seen a Republican Party that has been totally in line with Trump, totally afraid to question anything he's done. I think we've seen some cracks in that wall. As we have seen Republicans join Democrats in healthcare, we've seen Republican senators vote with Democrats to limit his ability to engage in war-like activities without congressional approval. And so with some of these swing districts where we have a Republican now, but it's really tight, it's a more purple area, it's going to be interesting to see if it becomes more politically risky for them to stay with Trump than for them to break with Trump. One thing I'll note, no matter, I think, who wins in November, we are in a place where breast cancer is a bipartisan issue. We have folks on both sides of the aisle who are championing this, and that's really important for our success, no matter the majority. And so we will continue to build that bipartisan support so we have drivers moving this on both sides of the aisle.
Thank you, Katie. I feel like
Yeah.
we need to do a whole session
Yeah.
all of these little
We can do that.
if you want a whole session on all of these little pieces to fully understand the process, put a yes in the chat and we'll work on getting that organized because I would like that. um, so Katie mentioned a lot of the things that we're looking forward to, so I will not uh, repeat them. I will just highlight that we're going to be doing those online congressional briefings. We will be doing those Zoom meetings, so be prepared for those. We are going to have the Coalition Hill Day in DC in July. So we hope to get that date out as soon as we know when the Congressional Women's Baseball, softball game is. We'll do it in and around there. And we're also going to do some advocacy trainings. But I think it's really important if there's something that you want, if there's something you want to learn, let us know. Because we want to build this community so that we feel really strong this year to get the work done. Next slide. So your voice, your vote. I mean, we're just going to put it out there. Everyone knows it is the year of voting. And so you're going to be hearing it all the time. But it's important. So we're going to be talking about, what does it look like to make sure that people are voting in these midterm elections? What does voting in the midterm election have to do with breast cancer and women's health? We want to provide you with that kind of information so that you can go to vote feeling that you have the information to make the decision that's best for you. We want to let you know what key races there are and provide some voter guides. One of the big things that Women's Health Advocates is doing is they are collaborating with the great Mitzi Crockover, who runs Beyond the Paper Gown, to do an 8-part series called Beyond the Ballot. It's going to be launching in February 2026. So if you're not on the Women's Health Advocates mailing list, I encourage you to go to the website and get on the mailing list so you get that update. It's going to be really, really wonderful. They're going to be talking about what it looks like, why it's important, and the impact that it can have on women's health in general. Next slide. So these are some great pictures of the steering committee event that we had in December. It was really, really wonderful. We're excited to see the steering committee growing. We had, people from all sectors. We had individual advocates like myself. We had nonprofit leaders. We had people from biotech. I mean, it was just a really wonderful time, and we had a lot of great meetings. So we wanted to put it out there. Next slide. That people can join the steering committee, and Katie made a really good point to me earlier today that organizations that can join the steering committee, individuals can join. A lot of people that helped get the breast cancer coalition up and running were individuals. And so if you want to join as an individual, there are all different levels. I also want to encourage people to think outside the box. If you think that your organization you work for might be interested sponsoring you to be a part of this, please consider thinking about that. And if you need any information to make that pitch, we're happy to give that to you. And all of this information is on the Women's Health Advocates website. Next slide. Wow, last year we had like 3 sponsors. This year we're so thankful that we have had so many incredible sponsors, to help have events, host these Hill Days. One of the things that people should know is that although people pay their own way to come to DC, everything else is covered, right? I mean, we are hosting dinners. We are making sure that we get members of Congress, at the receptions. And all of that takes time and it takes money, and we're very grateful for these sponsors. I also wanted to highlight that we do collaborate with CIF, the Catalytic Impact Foundation. They are a nonprofit 501c3. So if you are an individual or an organization that wants to donate through a nonprofit to do this work, you can do it through CIF. I can give you more information on that. Next. And that's it. I know we're late, but it's the first of the year, and it was really important for me. I'm just going to be honest. It was important for me that we started this year talking about advocacy, what it feels like, what it looks like, because a lot of you last year, it was the first time you dipped your toe into it. And for me, it is so rewarding to see people go into their first Hill meeting feeling nervous and leave their fifth Hill meeting feeling empowered. And that is something that it's hard to express, especially as someone who's a breast cancer patient. So I wanted to really lean into that and highlight so many wonderful things. All of this stuff is up there. You know it. Please, please connect with us on LinkedIn. Please connect with us on Instagram. We're really, we this year we are going to really try to dig in and get our Instagram up and running. And most importantly, invite people to come to the breast cancer call. A lot of people are coming to the women's health call. We love that. Come to WHA. We need more people at the breast cancer call because we have a great opportunity to get some of these bills across the finish line. And we need you to do that. So thank you to everyone who joined today, for everyone who participated in the panel. We will see you next month. And for the steering committee members, we'll see you shortly.